I think the thing for me is these cycles, they repeat. And people say, history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. No, cycles actually repeat. And so every 4 years we have this, up and down cycle of crypto winter and crypto spring, crypto summer and crypto fall. And, we had a really bad crypto winter. And now we're kind of in that crypto spring where it's kind of choppy and not making any progress. And sometime early next year, we'll end up back in crypto summer as we anticipate the next halving in early 2024. And I think then it could get exciting again. But boy, in the interim, it's gonna be tough. You bring up the great analogy and comp, right? Which is 2000 to 2002. And it was exactly like we're going through today. And it was the result of this long-term trend in technology. So technology evolves over a 14-year cycle. Why it's 14 years has to do with kind of the creative class being young people, and it's half a generation. But it's, 1954 was the mainframe, then 68 was the microchip, then 82 was the personal computer, 96 was the internet, 2010 was the mobile net, and 2024, still coming, is the truth net or the blockchain era. Newspapers said it was terrible, and all these companies like Netflix and Amazon, they were horrible, but you had this bull market from 96 to 00, and then we had a crash. And that crash, right, it killed off all the bad stuff, right? And it was necessary. And so 90% of the bad stuff went away. The art.com, art technology groups, right? They were the company that helped you turn your company into .com. No value, just change the name to .com, the stock price went up. And there was a thing called Digital Island, which was a little hosting business out in Hawaii, the worst bubble in history. And what was interesting is, as the bubble popped, the bad companies went away. Pets.com disappeared. Chewy.com today, 30 years later, is the same company. We needed GPS tracking, we needed broadband, we needed more penetration of the internet. And so it was ahead of its time. And Webvan, right, is Amazon and Whole Foods today. And Amazon in 01 to 02 went down 94%, right? Everybody remembers that. When was the right time to sell it? Well, not then. That was time to buy, but everybody was running away. And so inevitably we get these cycles. And just like in crypto, blockchain technology is the next operating system for the Internet of Value. So you and I are using voice over Internet Protocol right now to talk and video over Internet Protocol. And the incumbents hated that, right? They tried to pass a law in 1996, 97 to stop voice over IP. The telephone companies paid regulators to try to pass a bill. And Al Gore, right, he didn't invent the internet, but he did kill that bill. He said, no, that's stupid. We're not going to stop innovation. And so I give him a lot of credit. And similar what's happening today is the regulators are saying, we got to clamp down on this and all this bad malfeasance. I'm like, how many banks have failed since 1987? A lot, like hundreds and hundreds. How about the global financial crisis? Was that pretty bad? Yeah. Did we stop using banks? No. Did we stop transferring money between banks? No. Did we stop investing in the stock market because it went down a lot? No. So this idea that suddenly this technology is going to go away is silly. Now, are the regulators going to try to beat it down because the incumbents want it to stop? And so all that market cap that used to own to ABC, NBC, CBS now resides at Netflix and other streaming companies. So the same thing's happening to the banks. The banks are seeing assets leave to these alternative forms of financial services, because what blockchain does, it replaces trust with truth, right? In the old days, I lent you money and you had to rely on me being trustworthy because I kept a ledger. I had a single entry ledger and I wrote down, Blake owes me $100, but I'm an unscrupulous guy. So I wrote down 200. You come back to pay me back 110 next year. And I said, no, you owe me 220. No way, I only borrowed 100. It says right here in the ledger. So the Medicis, 1,200 years ago, came along and said, no, that's a bad system because we don't trust Mark. So Blake, you keep a ledger, Mark, you keep a ledger, and we, the benevolent Medicis, for a small fee, will decide that the ledgers match and what's the right number. So we will be the trusted third party to establish truth. So I lend you $100, you come back, I wrote down 200, I paid off the Medicis to say that my number's right, you owe me $200. So it can still be messed up. And banks have paid $360 billion of fines for bribery, money laundering, all kinds of malfeasance, because it turns out you can't trust everybody all the time. So what blockchain does is it replaces trust with truth. So if I want to send you money today, you have to have a bank account, I have to have a bank account, I send you the money, and they charge a fee. Well, wait a second. Why do we trust them? right? I have this recurring nightmare. I go to the ATM, I punch in my code, and it says 0. How would I prove it's not 0? I don't have any statements. I haven't had a statement in 10 years. And it's their word against mine. They're bigger, more trustworthy, right? So people say, Mark has no money. So I send you the money and there's no money there. Bank of America took it. So, and I'm not saying they did take it, but they could. So with blockchain and Bitcoin in particular, right? I have a Bitcoin. The network says, thumbs up, Mark has a Bitcoin. Okay, no banks, no third parties. It's the network, the algorithm. Okay, I send it to you. You got it. The network says, yep, that happened. Okay, now you've got it. It's Blake's. Irreversible, immutable, permanent truth. It's truth that Bitcoin went from me to you. And it's on a public ledger, immutable record for everyone to see forever and ever. I can't take it back. I can't say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, Blake fooled me, whatever. That transaction happened. And so by replacing trust with truth, we take $7 trillion. $7 trillion, that's a big number, right? $7 trillion of waste that goes into bank fees, overdraft fees, transfer fees, custodial fees, accounting fees, auditing fees. Think about this.